All right. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us today on Morning Talk, Lions Talk Live, coming at you. And you know what? We're just days away from the Super Bowl. I got to imagine there's a lot of the Lions fan base out there that might not have the same normal level of interest that we do in prior years for the Super Bowl. Maybe we're rooting against one team. Maybe we're rooting against both teams to lose. Whatever it may be, hope you enjoyed the thumbnail. And I will say this, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl, but I'm also going to watch it probably with a little less interest than most other Super Bowls. With that all being said, a couple things I want to get out of the way real quick. You guys, if you're regulars to the channel, you already know this stuff, but if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Trying to make a push to get to 5,800. I want to say we're about 25 subs or so away. So, somewhere right around there. Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't be afraid to hit the thumbs up button. Last but never least, outside of being a realtor, outside of being a YouTuber and a coach, I do sell real estate. So if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. All right, welcome to Lions Talk Live, and I'm going to say this. I'm nothing else with the Super Bowl. When it's over, we'll be one day closer to free agency starting. While it's not specifically the the point of today's video, I will say this. It's probably time we really start looking at the free agents. You see some of the signings the Detroit Lions have done, like signing a former third rounder from the Saints, a receiver. They signed a safety. They've added a Denver Broncos offensive lineman. I get these guys are not big name players, but you do start to wonder where Brad Holmes and the Lions representation are going to take this particular team into next year and as far as their goals and objectives. So with all that being said, let's real quick head over to the comments section, see what you guys think about the Super Bowl. Brian, no Super Bowl for me. No. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I think Brian, you're probably like a lot of people, just probably not the biggest fan of this year's matchup. And, maybe since the Lions had an opportunity to be there, we could all debate, hey, if we had held on to the lead, maybe we had a chance to win the Super Bowl. I do think we would have had a real good chance to win the Super Bowl. All right, Bergs, good morning, Dan, and to the Duke crew. Woo! The first woo of the day has been fired. And good morning to you too, buddy. Good morning. All right, Bergs, all I'm looking forward to is the 2024 season. Unfinished business, like Ben Johnson said. Let's go Lions, 100%. And I think there's going to be a lot of salt and open wounds watching this Super Bowl because you think about the fact that, the Lions played both teams, probably should have won against the 49ers. At least you can debate that fact. It did beat Kansas City at the start of the season. So I get it. There's going to be some salty feelings for sure. All right, Moonscar. Good morning, Coach. Saw a T-shirt this morning that says, I hope both teams lose. Go Lions. Also interesting starting lineup you had last night. We changed up, let some of the seniors who don't normally get to start have an opportunity to go out there and start. But hey, the kids had some fun. There's one kid who's never hit a 3-point shot in the career, and they went out there, launched their first shot. It was a 3, and boom, right in. So nearly hit a second one. I was cheering them on. All right, Moonscar. Target is selling a, quote, Go Taylor's Boyfriend T-shirt for $40. So that's what's wrong with the Super Bowl. Hey, the NFL is going to profit off Taylor Swift. I think we all get it. We all know it. The camera's going to go up there probably 10, 20 times in the game. And I'm not going to blame anybody for trying to make a buck off it. I'm sure there's a ton of people out there just outside the stadium. They're going to be selling things. They have to do with Taylor Swift or Taylor Swift related stuff in regards to the Super Bowl. All right, Joe Buck thinks something bad will happen at Super Bowl. Remember what happened in Vegas? I would hope not. But for the Super Bowl, the security is always going to be uber tight. Could it ever be a target for somebody, some nefarious people to try to do something? Absolutely. It's the Super Bowl. It's going to be one of the most watched events live of the year, and that's you want a recipe for somebody to try to come out and do something, make a name for themselves, or have an agenda. Unfortunately, it is the Super Bowl. All right, Jason greetings and salutations. I'll be watching with zero emotions attached and no horses in the race. Yeah, you're probably like I'm going to guess the vast majority of people watching this show or just watching in general, it's really impressive to me how much the nation was really cheering on the Detroit Lions. And I get we talked about it before, the first playoff game against the Rams, and then Tampa Bay, and then obviously in the NFC Championship. But the nation really was dialed in on the Detroit Lions, and who knows, maybe it will happen again next year. But it does seem like a lot of people became pseudo Lions fans. Because of that, some of the interest in this year's Super Bowl might be lower than normal. Moonscar, Trump, I hope not anything like that. Yeah, me neither. I don't think anybody wants anything like that to happen. But let's also be real. The world we live in, people might try to do something. But again, the security for this event will be, as high as anything else. It'd be like trying to do something at Air Force One or something. I mean, you're going to have to go through a lot to make that happen. All right, Doug, greetings and salutations at Lions Talk and at you, Doug. Hopefully having a great morning. Moonscar, I'll root for the 49ers. Will make me feel slightly better losing to the Super Bowl champs. All right, I'll go with that. Yeah, that's totally true. Totally true. All right, Moonscar, Biden, nice. Okay. Trump, get ready for Valentine's Day 2020. It ain't over yet. Stayu, all right. I'll go with that. Let's see. Moonscar, possible copyright infringement. Who knows, man? I have no idea anything about some stuff, so I'll let other people debate that. Doug, as this fix for the Super Bowl for Swift Mag would be everything on KC, use the wings to help pay for Taylor's. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. All right, Moonscar. Greetings and salutations, all. I love the thumbnail. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully, having a great morning. Michael, greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Group, Kansas City for the win. Woo! In that scenario, we could say we beat the Super Bowl winner. So I'll take that. Yeah. And I think after that, if your scenario, Michael, if Kansas City wins, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, his ascension up the greatest quarterbacks ever list, it'll really be coming up. I mean, you think about how many times he's been in the Super Bowl already in his brief career, let alone winning a few. Yeah, let me just say he'll be going into more and more rare air. All right, Trump, let me know when those. Oh boy, Joe. Oh boy. All right, here we go. Moonscar, cheer for some brand new, actually funny Super Bowl commercials. That would be great to see again. Bring back Spuds. One thing I'll agree with you 1,000%, Moonscar. The Super Bowl commercials, it seems to me, well, I mean, there's still some good ones, but they're not like what I remember, say 10, 15 years ago. They're just the amount of attention to them and the quality of them seems to really have dissipated exponentially. All right. So I think you're spot on with that. All right, Doug, 14th Amendment. America is great. All right. We'll go with that. Trump, let me know when that. Oh boy. Moonscar. Gee, guess what? I would have looked up at the picture. I have the T-shirt right there. Moonscar. It happens, man. It happens. But I hope you enjoy it. All right, Hooker time. Hey, Coach, serious question. Goff has 1 year left on contract. That is correct. Yes, he does have 1 year left. And what they're going to do from there, who knows? Well, I think we all agree he's going to get a contract off from the Detroit Lions. It's going to come down to basically what they think they have with him. I mean, and that's the unknown question, what they have in him. And I guess to some degree, what they think about Hooker. So, I mean, I'm anticipating he's going to get a 3 to 5 year. Goff is going to get a 3 to 5 year contract extension. That extension, I mean, I know yesterday we speculated on a little bit. There were some of us that were saying, hey, maybe he'll sign for $30 million a year, $40 million a year. Others saying he's going to demand $50 million a year. All of it is speculation on our part. Nobody really knows. My anticipation, though, is Goff is aware of his surroundings, his circumstances. He's probably also aware, as is his representation, that if he goes to another team, more than likely he's not going to be as successful as he is here in Detroit. Now, all that being as it may, Goff's representation is to work on his behest. They're out there to get him basically as much money as they can. So they're going to be pushing for certain parameters to be met in a new contract. Goff obviously is going to have final say in anything he does. And we'll have to see what the team offers him. But we're going to know all this, I'd say, by the end of July. If there's no new contract in place, that's probably, like, we've talked about it a number of times on the show. That's probably a real good indication that he's looking to or the team's looking to really see what they have in Hendon Hooker before they make any kind of final says. All right, Michael, come on, guys. This is about football. Knock it off. Yeah, let's keep the chat to non-politics. Let's keep it to football stuff. I mean, this is a football channel. All right, Doug. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, well said. Well said. All right, Hooker time. If Goff plays out his contract and is not signed, but signs with another team as a free agent, do the Lions get a comp pick? What would that draft pick be if so? I would have to do, to be fair, Hooker, I'd have to really do some looking into that. But let's play this out first. Let's say, all right, next year comes and goes. They don't sign him. He's a free agent unless they're going to slap the franchise tag on him. If he signs with somebody else, my guess is there will be a compensatory pick, but you're probably looking around a third, I don't know, maybe a second rounder, something like that. But again, don't hold me to it. I'm just not as knowledgeable on that as I am other topics. But I do believe it'd be something around a second or third round pick. That being said, the only way I think he leaves is if they are all in on Hooker. And I don't think we have that kind of knowledge base just yet with where Hooker is with things. All right, Moonscar signed a couple of new players over the last couple of days. Okay, we and Traquan, yeah. Okay, and we Traquan, yeah. The Saints guy, the Broncos guy. I want to say there was another guy too, a safety. But don't hold me to that. I know one was from the Saints, one was from the Broncos, and I want to say there was another guy from somewhere else, but offhand, I don't remember where. Moonscar, O-line and wide receiver. Yeah, I want to say, but man, I want to say they signed a safety too, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, Boo, good morning, Dude Crew. My buddy is a Sooner. Since he follows guys on Niners, he's rooting for them. So we're watching together. Should I root with him or against him? Go with him, man. You're with your buddy. Cheer him on. Unless you guys just got a real good relationship where you can kind of antagonize him, add to maybe the stress of the moment, then maybe you want to do that. But I would say, hey, you're with your buddy. You're hanging out with your buddy. Cheer on the Niners, man. All right, Michael. Coach, do you think we should draft a cornerback or DE first? Best player available, man. You're going to need both of those spots you just mentioned, Michael. I think we all get that. So it's just going to be, don't force a pick. If you got better value in one versus the other, just go with that. I wouldn't prioritize one spot to the point where I'm going to pick somebody just out of necessity, even though there's a better player at the other position available. So in my anticipation is, Michael, that's basically how Brad Holmes will draft. Although he might even take it a step further and just say, who's the best overall player at this pick? Even though it may not be a pick of need for us, we're going to go with the best overall player. Now, I'll say this, to me, it makes a lot of sense. If you just look from a math standpoint, let's just say, we all we need a corner and a defensive end. Picks come up and there's two players that are 7 out of 10s, but yet there's a 9 out of 10 and it's, another position that we could still use. They're probably going that route. No, with Brad Holmes, that's typically how it seems to go. All right, Trump, I'm not that much of a threat to you. Okay. Doug, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Good morning to you, Doug. Hopefully you're having a great morning. Michael, howdy, Dan, Lions Fable. I was thinking the same as Michael, cornerback or DE first. If it was up to me, it'd probably be defensive end. I'm a big believer, the faster you get to the other quarterback, the easier, not that the job's ever easy for a cornerback, but the less that weakness is exposed, the longer it takes to get to the quarterback, then bad quarterback play or less elite cornerback play, I should say, gets more and more exposed. So if you can get to the quarterback, it solves a lot of mysteries in that back end of the defense. All right, Michael, or should we go with a free agent to build up the defense? So Michael, both of you guys, I guess I would say, we're going to have probably a pretty good idea how the draft will be affected by free agency. I mean, that's one of the nice things about free agency being first. I know there are going to be a lot of people that say, hey, we need to go after Josh Allen or, Hunter from Minnesota, stuff like that. The more I think about it, I'm not sold that that's really how Brad Holmes works. Doesn't mean he won't sign guys, but I just don't think it's going to be the top flight free agents that everybody's trying to outbid to get. That's where I think we're going to probably have expectations here, and Dollar General Brad Holmes is going to emerge and say, well, Here you go. We got this. Instead of getting a Mountain Dew, we got yellow gold or whatever, some knockoff version of it. So that's basically where I'm anticipating free agency to be. And I'm basing that on his history with the team. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he opens up the wallet and goes for somebody bigger name, but I'm anticipating he's trying to keep every year a lot of free agency money or available cap space to re-sign current players. All right, let's see. Lions #1 fan. Good morning, all. I'm not very excited for the Super Bowl. Just not even sure I'll watch it. Yeah, and I'm going to watch it. It'll be in the background. I know there's a couple of friends who are going to have events for it, parties or whatever. We'll see if Jen wants to go, although Jen's not a huge sports person to begin with. So that's probably like making her do something she really doesn't want, which means I'm going to pay the price if I make her go do it or ask her to go do it. All right, Michael, I'm watching the Super Bowl. I've watched every Super Bowl from day one. Not going to break my streak. We'll keep the streak going. Hopefully you have some good food and snacks ready to enjoy it. And you know what? Hopefully at least it's entertaining, especially with the commercials. Detroit D, greetings and salutations, everyone. Gold Lions, back at you, buddy. Hopefully you're having a great morning and have an incredible day, my friend. Trump, the next 2 weeks should open up some eyes. Can't wait for Valentine's Day. All right. Well, hey, love is in the air, and I hope you have somebody to enjoy it with and have a great time on Valentine's Day. All right, Michael, let's see. A reminder, important dates, NFL Combine, February 26th. NFL Free Agency, March 13th. NFL Draft in Detroit, by the way, April 25th. You are spot on with that, sir. And yeah, the Combine, I enjoy watching it just to see some of the, the nonverbal communication stuff. Also, who doesn't love to see some of the numbers that pop out of those things? See some guy that's just off the charts in different areas. So there's some real entertainment there. And then obviously the big ones for Lions fans are going to be, as you're pointing out, Michael, free agency and the draft. So how many of you guys are thinking about going to the draft? Let me know. That would be interesting. Maybe we could try to set something up for the draft. Maybe a tailgate or something outside of Ford Field. That might be an idea. All right, Hooky-Doo. Good morning, Coach, and to all the OP of the Do crew. There we go. And I hope you're having a great morning, my friend. Hopefully you're enjoying it. All right, Dave, greetings and salutations, everyone. Anyone know how much salary cap space we have available? I think it's like 57 million, somewhere right around there. I think that's pretty close. I want to say the top team in the league this year is right around 75 million in cap space, and we're not far off that. I think we're like fifth place, fourth place as far as current teams with salary cap. Although, keep in mind, a couple people get cut or not re-signed or restructured. That could alter things exponentially. Clark Griswold at Dave. Let's see. I believe it's about 60 million. Yeah, I think you're about right with that. So, all right. Yada, yada, badass. Good morning, Coach. I was pissed that we lost the NFC Championship, but I wanted Ben fired. Now that I'm over it, I think Ben and it's Dan telling Ben what play to call. What do you think? I'm guessing in certain situations, MCDC might have some suggestions, like on a fourth down play call or something like that. But overall, unless you're a coach that is the OC or DC, you're probably pretty hands off. You hired those guys, you trust those guys to make the right calls. And if you really have umbrage or you don't like what's going on for an extended period of time, then you might step in more. My assumption is, but I got no way to know, but my assumption is the play calls are all on Ben Johnson. That's just him. I just don't get the impression Campbell is out there trying to override him and tell him what to do. Excuse me, I had a cough. All right, Eddie agrees and salutations. I'm hoping the Super Bowl ends in a tie. Well, there might be a lot of people like that are hoping for both teams to lose. So yeah, I get that point, man. And yeah, there's definitely some people that, even though it's been a week and a half, it'll be 2 weeks by the time Super Bowl kicks off. We're still less than happy that we were on the wrong side of that NFC Championship scoreboard. All right, Detroit D, I hope Brad can find us 4 starters in this year's draft. I hope we can get some real game changers. So, Detroit D, let me ask you, because, to your point, Brad Holmes has been able to find starters in each draft. Now, I get when you started off with him the first year, there just wasn't much talent on the team. So I get from a math standpoint, it's easier to find guys that step in right away and help contribute to the team. And then, year 2 is kind of same thing. There was improved talent. There just wasn't a ton. Last year, I thought, man, that was really something, that as much as the team had grown, that you were still able to get a number of starters out there. So let me ask you guys, Detroit D, everybody in the chat, if Brad Holmes goes out and finds 3 or 4 starters this year, what's that say about his ability to draft? I mean, at that point, with the talent on this team, I mean, that's just crazy to think about. But what spots would you want him to be at? Ideally, I think that's the real question. If you look across the team, where would the 4 potential starters be at? I'm going to guess everybody's going to say hopefully corner and edge, or defensive edge, or end. After that, man, it starts getting tough, I would think. Maybe offensive line. I don't kicker. I mean, you count kicker. But if you could do those 4 spots, man, that would be, this team would be crazy. All right, Lance, good morning, all. Any thoughts on who the top targets will be in free agency? For most teams, I'm going to guess Josh Allen and Hunter will be towards the top for most teams, because let's be real, everybody's looking for guys to get at the other quarterback. Allen is like 26 years old or right around there, so his age is still very favorable to contracts. Hunter, he's probably going to get a little bit of kickback just because he is in his 30s. Outside of that, I mean, you've got some receivers, you got some corners. He definitely has some offensive linemen that are going to command some money, because everybody's looking to protect their quarterback and open up the running game. But I guess those would be at least some of my thoughts. Let's be very fair. Jonah Jackson's going to command some interest from teams unless the Lions re-sign him somehow. I guess I don't have a complete list for you, Lance, but I'll try to come up for one maybe for tomorrow's show for you. All right, Lance, Yada Badass. If that's the case, when he is going to give the green light to Ben calling his plays, woo! I do believe he's got the green light. Again, maybe not, but I'm anticipating Ben Johnson has total freedom to call whatever plays he wants. That's my guess, though. All right, Ed, what do you got? Good morning, Coach and Duke crew. I live in a retirement community, and we have a big Super Bowl party every year. Can't wait for it. Well, I hope you enjoy it. Hope you have a great time. And here's my question for you, Ed. Are you out fishing this morning? So hopefully you enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday with all your friends. All right, Pat, Green's Sanitation Zone, back at you. Hopefully you have a great morning. Dennis, good morning, fam. Same to you. Eddie, good morning, all. Back at you, too. JP, good morning, Lions crew. Same to you. Go Lions from Steve. Detroit D, can't wait to see the 2-year jump for Branch, future potential All-Pro. Yeah, and it really is impressive. And I know we've talked about it basically since the NFC Championship defeat. When you look at the fact the team needs secondary help, cornerback help, whatever you want to say, how well Brian Branch has done. We have all talked about it takes a while for corners to really grow and develop, and I think that's true. On an overall rule, I think that's incredibly true. But Brian Branch, I mean, yeah, he had a dang good, I won't say it's, all pro. I won't say it's, Pro Bowl. I won't say it's Hall of Fame, but a dang good rookie season. And where he goes from year 1 to year 2, that's going to be a big tell. If he really jumps the way most corners do, the Lions secondary might start trending to get a little bit better and better. We get the safeties are pretty good. Now, if you can add, to be fair to Cam Sutton, I get he played hurt. I also get he's not a number 1 corner. He's probably more number 2 or 3. But if you can find anything near a number 1 corner on this D and improve the pass rush, now Sutton's arguably your number 2 or 3. If not, maybe Branch is in the number 2 or 3. It starts looking pretty decent in that back half of the secondary, or the back half of the D. All right, Detroit D. I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball against San Francisco. Yeah, I think they're going to. I also think, Kansas City is going to probably put – it's my anticipation. I think Kansas City's offense is going to really put some problems out there for the 49ers defense they have to handle and adjust to. If you guys want me to do a prediction right here and now, I'm going to take the Chiefs to win. I just think Mahomes, unless the Niners can get a lot more pass rush on him than they did against Detroit, I think he's going to be able to pick that defense apart pretty consistently. And you look at how much their defense, which, a couple years ago, the Chiefs defense was not very strong. it's not bad this year. It's, I'm not going to say it's top 10 or anything, but it's pretty dang close to top 10. And that's where I think it comes down to what Mahomes can do. And those receivers have grown. I just think they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure and stress on that defense to cover more ground than it really can, I think. And therein lies the problem for the 49ers, I believe. All right, Brent, let's see. Good morning, everyone. Can't bet against Mahomes still until he is proven otherwise. Surgery was successful and will be stuck here for 3 to 4 days. Go Lions. Yeah, I was wondering if you'd give us an update on stuff. I'm glad it all went well. I'm glad you're doing well. Hey, 3 or 4 days where somebody gets to bring you food and wait on your every need. I guess it could be worse than that, but I'm glad you're okay, buddy. Hopefully you enjoy your time in Relaxationville. Hooky Doo, my opinion, it's going to be the toilet bowl. Go Lions. I'll go with that. Maybe it will be, man. I know somebody earlier in the show said, hey, I hope it ends in a 0-0 tie or whatever they said, a tie. Maybe that might happen. Fred, good morning, Dan and Dew Crew, ! Finally decided to watch the Super Bowl. Lots of food, betting, and drinks to drown my sorrows. One pride. Hey, man, just go out and enjoy the day. Maybe it's not the game we all wanted, but you know what? Doesn't mean you can't have a good time having some good food and hanging out with some peeps. So enjoy it, my friend. All right, yada yada badass. I'm not paying Goff $50 million. Hell, I'm not even paying $45 million. Anything under $40 million sounds much better. I don't think they should even extend his contract, but that's just me. Okay. I'm gonna say this. There's a lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot, but there is a number of people that feel that way too. The only problem is, and I'll just throw this out there as a thought. If in that scenario, if we move on from Goff, you've got to have somebody who's equal or better. You do not want to take a step down. A lot of us think Hendon Hooker's that guy, but we have no idea. The team might have some idea, but I can just say this for fans, we're all guessing what he can be. There's a lot of dudes who get drafted that have the unmeasurables, the cannon arm, the cat-like reflexes, the ability to turn the hips, ability to throw from multiple pockets or windows, all that stuff. And then when they get into the game, because of the way the defenses shift in the pre-snap reads, they fall apart. That single difference, in my opinion, is the reason why so many college quarterbacks look good and then are terrible in the NFL. They just can never evolve beyond that simple pre-snap adjustment. And the window when you hike that ball from somebody being in your face is typically so small that it just rattles them mentally and emotionally, and they're never able to recover. So who knows what's going to happen with Goff? We'll find out this offseason, or at least probably get some pretty strong indications. My initial indication, though, right now is that they're probably sticking with him, but I've been wrong before, I can tell you that. Donkey Kong, Super Bowl or bust. There we go. Bada bing. Let's see. Happy Friday, Lions fans. All right, we'll take that. It's Thursday, but we'll take it a preemptive Happy Friday for you. So I see how you're one day ahead of us. Wait, it is Thursday, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, Nathan. All right, morning, Duke Group. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully, a great one. Donkey Kong, don't worry, yada yada. You don't have to. Holmes will do it. Yeah, Holmes will handle it. And I'm gonna say this: we all sometimes have questions. I'd say in the last 3 years over what Brad Holmes does or chooses to do, or it's draft, free agency, or whatever, signing players. But there are a lot of people that, and I'll just use Anzalone as an example. There are a lot of people that kind of question that re-signing, especially this past offseason. That seemed to have gone pretty well. And there's a couple other guys they re-signed that, people probably, I'm not going to say they outright thought it was horrible, but, they were less than impressed with the signing. That's probably what we could say. And those guys also, for the most part, all worked out. So there were some free agents guys that we brought in on defense that maybe didn't work out as well as anticipated. Most of those were okay. Emmanuel Mosley, Cam Sutton. Sutton also, I think, was playing with some real aggressive turf toe the last month or so of the season, and that is going to affect him. Mosley, it's unfortunate, but whatever Brad Holmes chooses to do, I guess I should just say this, we probably all need to have a level of faith in it because the guy's been so incredibly right on a number of different things. All right, Jason, add Donkey Kong. This Sunday is a bust. Yes, this Sunday is not according to plan. But maybe we've talked about it for a few weeks now. Maybe this is what's going to push the team to the next level next year. Let's hope so. Don Kong, Jason, yeah, the last 34 years has been a bust for me as a Lions fan. That's probably a fair statement, man. Jason, 52 for me. Yes, there are going to be a lot of people out here in the show and in the chat that have had more than a few busted seasons. Ken, good morning, Danny Do and all. Like voting, hit the like button early and often. Yes, if you guys are willing to do so, pretty pleased with Mountain Dew on top. Hit that like button, and if you would be so kind, hit the subscription button. Jason Berry, next year is our year. That's what I'm saying. We need to have some T-shirts that say that. And, hey, since 58, next year has been our year, said all Detroit Lions fans. Ken, yes, 100% laughing about that one. Dennis, should be us. It should be us, but you know what? Maybe that's what's going to push us to even more success in the future. Let's see. Silver Server, do not care for this game in which the average ticket will cost $10,000. Wow, that is something. This is not for the people. This whole system is a joke and a slap to poverty and humanity in the general. Yeah, it's the prices that are jumping out there. And those people are in a different tax bracket than I am. So if you're one of those people and you're watching and you want to send the channel a kind donation so maybe I can upgrade some graphics, I will humbly accept it. And if you want to send me the price of a ticket so I can buy maybe like a decade's worth of Mountain Dew from the Circle K, I will also humbly accept it. I'll even send you a free towel of destiny at no additional cost. All right, Donkey Kong, Silver. I never watched Super Bowl. Never, Donkey? How come? I'd be interested. Just find out, Donkey. How come you don't watch the Super Bowl? Is it because the Lions are in it, or you just have no interest? Let us know, man. Trump. Okay, we'll see you with Budweiser. Fair enough, Trump. We'll see you with Budweiser or whatever, I guess. Uncle Buzz, how many boys before somebody gets blocked? Hey, I try not to block people unless they're just really over the top with stuff. I think, to be fair, I think I've only blocked 2 people. The one was, God, I don't even remember her name. She came on here. What was it, like 4 months ago? I don't know, a while ago. And she was just going haywire at people, at everybody. And another one was another YouTuber who came in here, was constantly trying to promote their channel. I asked that individual not to do it anymore, please. And you want to engage with people. I don't have a problem with it. You want people to come over to your channel. Just the manner in which that individual was doing it, I thought was a little odd. And then the funny part is you go over to their channel and they specifically say you can't promote yourself on their channel. So who knows? But I try to avoid it. Justin, if you are checking into prospects, I keep going Braylon Allen from Wisconsin to replace Kabinda. Dude is a running back and has done some pass catching already, but imagine him as the third running back, fullback, tight end. Yeah, I like the way you're thinking on that, Justin, because we all probably get and understand this team, this management, they prefer guys that can fill multiple roles. That's why I really think Dan Skipper is probably going to get re-signed. I mean, he can do multiple things other than just be an offensive lineman. So to your point, Justin, someone like that, Allen sounds like a very good fit. So I'll have to look him into a little bit more. But someone like that, maybe in the later rounds, they look at him. All right, Justin, again, let's see. Just imagine what the coaching staff could make up him and all the ways they could help confuse defenses. Yeah, and the fact that you can motion him around the different spots, I think you're onto something with someone like that. That's one of the reasons why I really liked Rodrigo's evolution this year. The fact that he played some fullback, some tight end, special teams, linebacker. I mean, you get a guy who can, even though he's a backup, but he's a Swiss Army knife of backup. He fills multiple spots and roles. And in emergency, hey, you need it because of injury or whatever, he can come in and do more. I really think Rodrigo is worth every bit of his paycheck just for that reason. And to your point, this guy sounds like I just don't know enough about him to speak intelligently about him, but Allen sounds like he would fit that mold as well. Dennis, can I get a what Lions forever? Woo! There you go, Dennis. Hopefully you enjoy that. So, and good morning, buddy. Too bad we again get the 2 third-round picks from AG leaving. It happens, man. I mean, I get some people are not fans of AG, some people are. It's kind of really down the middle, it seems like, with most of the fan base on him. And yes, more draft picks are always fun. But I will say this, you listen to the players on the team, and it does sound like the vast majority of the defensive players really embrace Aaron Glenn. And some of that even goes over to the offensive side. So we can all have our thoughts on it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you read the tea leaves from what the players are saying, they seem to embrace the guy. So I can tell you as a coach, if you've got players backing you up, you're doing something right, especially in their eyes. Free agent needs draft best players. Yeah, and I think that's Trump. That's where I think Brad Holmes is probably going to go with things. Been wrong before for sure, but he does seem to favor that mentality versus drafting for need. And if you can sign up a few free agents, even though they probably aren't going to be the top shelf free agents, to come in and help alleviate some of the stress from our weaknesses on the roster. Now Brad Holmes is freed up even more to just go after the best guys out there. Jason, I read an article that suggests Bosa to Detroit for our 29th pick. I guess wish Bosa, the 49ers or Chargers one. They are getting a little up there in age. That would be my thing. I guess Jason, I'd be more open to it if we trade the 29th pick for one of them and we got something like a 4th or 5th back in return, because I don't want to lose the number of draft options the team has, because I do want to fill out some of the roster with depth and, more cap-friendly players. Boss damaged goods. Okay. Oh, Bosa. Okay, I see what you're saying, Trump. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see if that would happen. There's this time of year, I think we all get it. There's going to be tons of, hey, Lions are going to trade for this guy or that guy or sign this person in free agency or whatever it is. That's media trying to sell stuff, and nothing wrong with it. It's entertaining and stuff, and maybe there's a level of truth or degree to it. But I would say, at least so far in Brad Holmes' tenure with the Lions, that would be inconsistent with anything he's done prior. Now, maybe he says this is the year to go forward and go all in. But if that's the case, if he was, thinking that way, I would be really surprised he didn't trade that first-round pick for Montez Sweat than last year, because that would have obviously impacted last year and the upcoming probably 2 to 3 years as well. So who knows? We'll see what happens this offseason. Yaddio, what do you got? We need to draft a kicker. Hell, we must draft a kicker. Yeah, and I think you're probably right. They're going to go after somebody. Probably not going to be the middle rounds, not the first couple rounds, but in the latter rounds. I need to do more homework, to be fair, on the kicker positions to find out if there's anybody out there. I would say this: if I'm the team, I'm looking somebody for a strong leg that has pretty decent accuracy, and then have somebody work with them a ton on improving set accuracy, because it seems like the kicking options they've had, the biggest thing they've all been or had in common is just an overall lack of leg strength. So they're going to have to address that at some point. Anthony, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully a good one. Ken, personally, if Dan Miller ain't calling it, I ain't watching it. Fair enough, and I get it. Miller does a pretty good job with things, I think, overall. Moonscar, thinking of going Friday or Saturday. All right, where are you going, I guess, with it? Maybe I missed something. Sorry about that, Moonscar, but yeah, let me know. Anthony, my son and I was thinking about going to draft. Think that would be amazing. Yeah, I think it would be a fun time, man. Oh, that's what you're talking about, Moonscar. Yeah, the draft. Okay, yeah, I go enjoy it, man. I think especially the first 2 days would be something. Day 3, hey, as long as you're out there with some friends, just enjoying it, enjoying your time with it. Day 3 tends to move a little bit slower. And plus, most people, not all, but most people just don't know the people being selected nearly as well. Anthony, we all bleed the same way. We do 100%. I bleed due, by the way. Phil, good morning. Good morning, Phil. Hopefully a good one. And the Detroit D, any news on new uniforms? I hope they go totally new. I know there's announcing they're going to have some new ones this upcoming year. Is that going to be for every game or just one game a year? I guess that's what we're going to have to wait and see. Hookadoo, I'll be damned going through my closet. I found my Lions NFC Central Championship sweatshirt from 1991. That's pretty awesome, man. You should frame that thing, because you know what? You're not buying any more of them, not unless it's a refab or, excuse me, a new print edition. So congrats on the rare find, man. Motown Mitch, good morning, Coach. No reason to watch this game, so no, won't be watching. Fair enough, man. And there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to be watching it. I'm going to be embracing some of the food and stuff and watching it kind of in the background, but that's probably the extent of it. Phil, I could care less about the same old teams in the same old format. Probably will skip the Super Bowl and clean my garage. Yeah. And like I said, I'll probably listen to it in the background, but not really horribly focused on it. Just for me, like when Brady went to Tampa Bay, I watched that game because I just want to see if he could do it again. Some of the other ones were just new matchups or whatever. That kind of intrigued me. This one, it just feels like we've been there, done that. JP, Brad so far has been the best draft GM the Lions have ever had. Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on with that, JP. He is just crushing it at such a historical rate, not just for the Lions, but for the NFL. And that's probably really a deep dive video I need to do before the draft. Maybe next week is something for all of us to look at. Take a journalistic approach, look at the data, compare it to other teams, compare it to NFL standards, regulars, and the outliers, the higher end GMs. Where does he rank? And just going off the top of my noggin, I'm guessing he's got to be, after 3 drafts, near the top all time as far as overall ratings for success rates in the draft. Phil, grab that kid from Oregon in the draft. You're talking about the center. There's some real potential. He will be there at number 29. Doesn't mean somebody won't take him before us, but I do believe he'll be a later first-round pick. Unless, combine numbers come out and he just, destroys everything, then he's probably going to be beyond our ability to get to. Doug, what do you got? To make your children capable of honesty is the beginning of education. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, make everybody accountable for their actions. Make them stand up for what they've done and done wrong or right. So I get you on that. Richard, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. A lot of people seem to be tuned out from it. So you're not alone, buddy. Moonscar, say Brad is a stud if he can get 3 or 4 guard, center, edge for sure. One more impactful interior defense line, hopefully a cornerback. Yeah, if he can pull that off, and not necessarily in that order or any particular order or whatever, but if he can pull that off, yeah, he's man, they should really need to look at re-signing an extension or him as soon as possible. Cornerback, edge, O-line, and kicker. Kicker, exclamation point. I agree with you. Yadio was a starter kicker and a starter cornerback, and that really don't know. Yeah, if he can find someone, you think about Richard Sherman years ago. I mean, he was like a 5th-round pick or something. If he's able to bring in somebody this year to be a number 2 or even a number 1 corner, man, I guess even a number 3, because if you're a number 3, you're out there 70, 80% of the time. That'd be really impressive to me. I'm not going to say, hey, you're going to find, the next shutdown greatest corner ever. But if he can get anywhere near that, man, him and that scouting department, they all need some serious praise. Derek, what is your view on whether we should keep Dan Skipper or not? I think we should. He's going to be cost efficient. You're not probably getting into a bidding war for him. 2, the coaching staff clearly has a ton of faith in him. And 3, he knows different roles with his team as far as what Ben Johnson wants to use him for, things of that sort. So with all those factors, he's probably somebody I would look to target. Kurt Steele, what up, though? What up to you? Hopefully you're having a good morning, buddy. Starter kicker and starter cornerback. After that, I don't know. That's very hard to say. Yeah, probably just depth at that point. But if you can somehow get a starting kicker and corner, maybe an offensive guard to come in and start. After that, I guess really the only spot I can think of readily is just defensive end. If you just happen to draft a late round receiver like Puka Nacua that can come in and start, then fine, great. You're just at that point you're just piling on. Maybe where out of other spot, maybe interior defensive tackle or something. I don't know, but if he pulls off another 3 or 4 starter draft, yeah, kudos to Brad Holmes. Kurt, watching the game, not rooting for either team. Yeah, I think you're pretty much in line with the vast majority of the nation, I'm going to imagine. It's just, it doesn't seem like this Super Bowl has any real big buildup unless you're a Kansas City Chiefs or 49ers fan. Troy D, Cam Sutton is going to bounce back next season. Mark my word. I'm going to hold you to it. And you know what? I think you could be pretty spot on with that. All right, Detroit D, Cam isn't the number one, but he's better than he should late in the season. Yeah, and I think most people don't get D that he was fighting, a turf toe injury and out there having to cut and plant and power off on that foot, to really get some speed and separation in routes, or when he's trying to keep up with the receiver in routes. Most people probably don't know what that's like with that injury. I can't personally say I know what it's like. I've listened to a lot of people explain it to me, so I'm taking it with I guess their wisdom. But he was out there facing some of the best receivers in the NFL and doing it injured. I'm going to give him a little bit of a break on it and see what happens. But I think he'll be better than what he was last year. Aaron, good evening. Dan from Melbourne, Australia. Do you think the Lions look at Blake Corum, 3-man backfield? Maybe, but I also think if they go after Corum, he'd probably, my early grades on him, and I haven't looked at him a ton, but he's probably a middle of the draft running back. I don't think he's going to be a first or second or third rounder, but if you get him somewhere, maybe late third or fourth or fifth, maybe, but that would probably mean Craig Reynolds' time in Detroit is probably coming to a close. It is very possible for them to go after him. I'll just say that. Michael, hey, brother, speedy recover at Brent. Yeah, and Brent, I hope you are having a good one and recovering. Derek, hi, crew. I hope everyone has a good week, Wednesday. All right. I had a pretty good Wednesday. Team won last night, 14-2 on the year. Things are looking up. So, in just 2.5 more weeks into the playoffs. All right, Kurt, the Lions need to address cornerback number 1, interior OL, or interior lineman, kicker this offseason. However, Brad Holmes is going to do this thing in the draft. Don't be surprised if he trades out of the first round for a player. I think you've got something there. And I know I've talked about it, that my anticipation is there's a real opportunity for the Lions to trade either back in the draft or maybe your suggestion, trade for a player. There are going to be a few quarterbacks typically every year that drop into the latter parts of the first round that maybe teams target as a little bit more of a developmental quarterback, and they want to get that fifth-year option on them, so they're going to try to trade up to a late first-round pick. Whatever it is, I think you're pretty spot on, Kurt, that the Lions are in a pretty good spot for something to happen at that 29th pick. All right, Trump, we could build a heck of a team if we traded Goff. My only question with Goff is he's got 1 year left, so a team would want probably more than just a 1-year contract for him. And 2, I just really do question if other teams put the same value on him as we do. He is, he's resurrected his career. Let's be real. The NFL perception on him when he was traded to Detroit, I think most would say it wasn't great. It doesn't mean it was terrible, just not great. Do we think that a team is going to give us 2 first-rounders for him? If so, who's that team? And that's where I think the problem therein lies, is he fits our system, obviously what we've constructed here, pretty well. Could he go and do the same thing at Tampa Bay or Washington maybe? The teams that would make most sense to me to try to go after him, if, in just this scenario that we're talking about possibly trading him, would probably be a Washington or maybe a Las Vegas Raiders. I guess those would be the spots I would think of. I don't see Seattle going for him. Maybe there's some other team. Carolina Panthers aren't going to do it. I don't think they're going to jump off Young just yet. So I think there's limited options. But if we were to trade him, what would you get in return for him? I guess that's the real question. All right, Detroit D. I believe Branch is only to get better in coverage. Already a good tackler. Yeah, I'm spot on with you there. He's only going to jump up and get better. Michael, I think we should get more in a Goff trade than the Stafford trade. It's possible, but I guess we'll see if it happens. Somebody wants to throw us, 2-3 first-round picks for him. Hate saying it, but I'd be real tempted to look at it. All right, Aaron, I believe we need to keep Goff. he isn't in. He is set with the team. Pay him $45 million. Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if they resign him. What is that contract looking like? Trump, I make Goff play out his contract or trade before draft. Fair enough. Yeah, it seems like there's a few people in that house. All right, Phil, I'm surprised Anzalone felt the need to go to social media to explain Dan's methods. Was the media that negative? I think there was some fan base that were against it, and there definitely was some national media that was against him going for it. So you've seen Penei Sewell, you've seen Anzalone. I'm assuming there's other players, but I haven't seen them that have stepped up and said, hey, we fully support as a team MCDC's decision to go for on fourth downs and other aspects of that game. So there's clearly enough negative attention about it that the players felt they want to step out and say their opinions on it. Bergs, agreed, Detroit D, yes. Phil, send me a towel, but not a Target until Macy's. Okay, man, you want the upgrade. Bergs, best wishes, Brent. Hope all is well. Yeah, I hope everybody sends Brent a get well soon thing message. Phil, a team that plays together stays together 1,000%. Bergs, yeah, Goff brought us to 1/2 from a Super Bowl. Let's get rid of him for a guy who hasn't played a snap in the NFL. Real smart. Quarterback is toughest position to land. We know what Goff is, a winner. Yes, I agree. You know, it's going to be a whole lot easier to get a downgrade there than it is to hit an upgrade. Very few teams pull off the Smith for Mahomes switch. And Smith was a pretty good quarterback. Mahomes just ended up being the dude. Phil, Jen's still working on a merch site. I'll have to ask her that. I haven't heard anything in a while. Her stuff, her health and fitness stuff is really blowing up. It's incredible. She in a few months surpassed me, not on YouTube, but in Facebook and other followers. Yeah, it's just, she's blowing up. Phil, Hallelujah Blue do? I've still not heard anything back from Pepsi-Cola on that. I do keep messaging them, not every day or anything, but say like once a week about it, but just no messages back. Michael, new D-line coach Terrell Williams could be a great addition to MCDC and AG. Yeah, I think he will be. I think that's going to be a real sneaky good signing that's going to pay off. JP, Sweat has a $25 million a year contract for 5 years. He's too expensive. Yeah, and I'm guessing that was part of the deciding factor that went into Brad Holmes' thinking. Is Brad Holmes just doesn't seem to want to give out contracts like that. Now, I do believe he's going to give out some like that to some of the drafted Lions players as their contracts come up. But bringing in somebody else like that probably was a part of it, 100%. Yeah, I knew what you meant, JP. All right, Phil, take an Uber. Cars aren't safe downtown. Okay, fair enough. In Detroit, I'm assuming you mean Phil. Okay. Bergs, that girl was crazy. I remember her. Yeah, I don't remember her name. Maybe I want to say it was Angela or something like that, but don't hold me to that, man. I don't really remember. All right, Robert G, good morning, Dan and crew. I'm only watching the stupid commercials. That's probably where a lot of people's interest and focus is going to be, is, hopefully to see some good ones. I know from selfish reasons, I know the new Deadpool 3 commercial is supposed to come out, I believe, during the Super Bowl. So I'm going to be watching for that alone. Ed, we are betting on how many times they mention the Lions. I bet we'll get more than our fair share. There'll be some mentioning of it. It's 100%, Ed. Phil, do we keep Mosley? I'm inclined to think if he's willing to take a very inexpensive contract, somewhere around $2 million a year, you're probably bringing him back. Who knows? Maybe another $3 million deal. But I wouldn't be surprised if they take a shot on him. Yadio, I don't know. I might watch Super Bowl. But if I do, I'm not going to be all in it. But I don't want 49ers win. I'm tired of overrated Patrick. And don't get me started on Taylor. Let's say I don't like her. Fair enough. And yeah, I think your frustrations with the Super Bowl matchup are pretty consistent with a lot of people. There's just a lot of people I think that aren't incredibly driven to watch these two particular teams, unless you're a fan from the fan base of those two teams. Ed, hard to text with a damn boat rocking. So you are out fishing, man. Hopefully you're having a good morning fishing. Jason Cooper, those who don't want to pay Goff are idiots. Fair enough. And we'll see. I mean, I'm inclined to believe he is going to be resigned. I've been wrong before, though. Robert G, why would they get rid of Goff? That's, just, hey, some people are intrigued by what Hendon Hooker could potentially be. But again, nobody's seen this kid on the field yet. They've seen him through some pseudo red shirt workouts, or red jersey workouts. So it is a lot different when you can't get hit, and once you know that that action's real, that somebody can really put you on the ground, guys do respond to it differently. So we'll see what shakes out. Joey Harrington looked great until he didn't. Well, I'll put it that way. Fred, keep Mosley. With his injuries, few teams will want him. I would agree with that. Sign him cheap when healthy. Guy is a baller. Yeah, he's a real good corner when he's healthy. And really, to be fair to him, prior to the ACL injuries the last 2 years, he was a healthy player. It's just unfortunate he's had 2 straight years with injuries. Now, the other side to look at it, if you want to be the optimist, his body should be pretty dang healed other than those ACL, well, at least one ACL injury. He's been able to keep any kind of pounding or grinding down on the rest of his body during that time. David, what do you got? A simple look at our history and our quarterbacks. Why would we have even entertain the thought of letting Goff go? I don't believe the team's going to at this point. I've been wrong before, but we'll see what happens. But I'm guessing he's going to get signed. My marker running late. Good morning. One Prime back at you, buddy. Hopefully you have a good morning. Jason, thanks for the show, Dan. We appreciate it. No problem, man. I enjoy this stuff. Boo, I remember that meth girl. Yeah, she was a little irate about something. I don't even remember what she was irate about, but I remember it was. All right, Michael, great show, Coach. Have a good day. All right, fair enough. And guys, I guess David skipped me. Well, there you go, David. Sorry if I skipped you. Simple look at our. I think I didn't skip you, man. So hopefully you've seen it. Anyways, I'll go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. I'll go ahead and get out of here. It's been about an hour. The Mountain Dew's calling me, and the hot dogs over at the Circle K. So I head on out, do that, hit the gym, and then get ready to work today. So if there's some breaking news, I'll get it to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, don't be afraid to hit that subscription button, like button, and we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.